peak buying season, and we want to share a current market update. I'm Lauren here with Raul with the Shader Group, and today we want to chat about the spring and summer market of 2023. So what is currently going on in the market today?
Yeah, so I think, a lot of the fears were kind of, put to bed, if you will, with the interest rates, because I think it's the new market and everyone's kind of waking up and saying, okay, this is the norm. We had actually had expectations that the first quarter was going to be a little bit slower than what it really was. We saw a lot of inventory disintegrate, if you will. So we saw from January at about 9,700 homes to where we're currently at about 8,200 homes. So we're starting to come downwards, right? But we're also starting to get back to where we were pre-pandemic, which is really, really nice. What's really interesting is our builders. They actually had the best first quarter that they've had in the last 3 years, just past
That's
year,
amazing.
which most people wouldn't have thought. So it's just they had so many incentives and so many just great opportunities that they were able to get rid of a lot of their inventories. And I think that's really what's driving the market right now, is the fact that since the inventories are starting to shrink, and we're very listing heavy, so I'm seeing what buyers are doing on their side. And believe it or not, we are starting to see some multiple offers. We're not seeing what we saw 2 years ago, but we're seeing, 2 or 3 people fighting for a house, not really going super high over ask price, but they're kind of getting back in the line, because I think what happened is the price of the houses started to plateau to where they should have been, right? Because we were running about a negative 6% list price to sales price average, which means if we were listed at 300 grand, we really sold it at 282. So now that everyone's kind of falling back in line and everyone's kind of gravitating back to where we should have been instead of that super inflation, I think things are just coming back and people are saying, okay, now's the time to buy, because I can tell you that more than likely prices are going to start going back up.
How are interest rates currently impacting our market?
Well, the Fed had one job, and that was to slow down the economy. Powell wanted to have a soft landing. Believe it or not, we're going to lose a couple tires and maybe a windshield, but we'll be just fine. I don't think anything's going to pan out until later on in the year and going into 2024. But there's options out there. I mean, lenders are getting creative. There's some arms out there that are helping us get a lower rate now. And then just with the whole idea of trying to refinance later. I think that there's a lot of buy down opportunities with builders. I think that there's just a lot of different programs that weren't really talked about. We talked about it back 08, 09, 2010, because that was normal back then. And then it kind of dissipated because then interest rates fell a little bit. But I mean, for the longest time, we were getting free money, if you really think about it. 2.25% interest rate. I mean, it's just super low. So I think that these are just kind of the new norms, and people are figuring out ways to get to where they need to be.
Yes, and I think it's so important that people know that there's options. We know because we are in the industry and we see it every day. But people hear the news and it creates fear, and so they think, oh, that's what my interest rates are going to be. But there's so many more options. That's why you got to go with a professional, see what your options are. What are the advantages of buying now versus waiting for the interest rates? I know you touched on it a little bit.
Well, it's a mix, right? You buy now, you get the pricing now, right? Say, I'm going to just use 300 as an example. I mean, right now, our average in San Antonio, if we go back the last 5 months, we're probably about 366 on the average price point. Last week, we sold 600 houses citywide, and the average was 350, right? So it's dancing in that zone. So my thought is this: if your house is 350 and you buy now, and even though your interest is a little bit higher, it's better than having a lower interest with a higher sales price. Right? Because I'd rather pay an extra $2,000 a year, $2,400 a year, break it up, that's an extra $200 a month, versus paying an extra $20,000 or $30,000 or $50,000 to what it's going to be later. And then, mathematically, your interest might be a little bit lower, but why not buy the house now with the price point where it's at, and then just refi when the interest drops?
Yes, I love it. Peak buying season.
Absolutely.
Please reach out if you have any questions and want to learn more. Subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. If you just want a market report or to kind of get an idea, scratch the surface, we're the experts in our field. We'd love to help you guys out. Y'all have a blessed day, and we'll talk to y'all soon.